Welcome back to Raised by Giants Illuminated Insights UFO Doomsday Cult Series Part 7. We are live. Welcome everyone in the chat. Good to see you guys. If you're not familiar with what I'm doing here, this series is about giving you the facts and the research behind some of the most highly regarded modern day belief systems that are floating around the community that come directly from these UFO cults with theories and beliefs of extraterrestrials, 33 Galactic Confederation, right? Of light landing and saving humanity from impending doom, into the world predictions that never come true, Luciferians, evil extraterrestrials messing with humanity, trying to trick us, supposed advanced technology like time travel, channeling, telepathy, psychic communication, and cloning, and the coming of a new age into the next evolutionary level above human, the Great White Brotherhood of Light, New Age UFO, extraterrestrial raptures, along with many claiming to be reincarnations of famous historical figures. If you haven't checked out the episodes before this one, I highly recommend it. And there's a playlist that I've created on YouTube, because if you research these cults, you'll realize that all of the belief systems and theories from these UFO cults that we're studying and the ideologies have been regurgitated and are very prominent in the community today. Last week, we covered the Love Was One cult, which was a modern day example of how these cults get out of control. Welcome everyone in the chat. How is everyone doing? Experimental Elemental, Sam, No Bull Truth, Nina the Mystic, good to see you. Karen Holton. Yeah, me and Karen just did a show last night. If you guys have time to check out that show that I did on Karen's channel, her YouTube channel, go check that out. King James, what's happening? The good old switcheroo. That's right, baby. Switcheroo. How's it going, Polar Origins? Go, go. Good to see you, brother. Haven't seen you in a minute, go, go. It's nice to see you, my friend. But anyway, briefly, let's do a recap on the Love Has One cult right here, because they claimed that Amy Carlson here was a divine being, right? And a 19-year-old, billion-year-old being who had birthed all of creation, and that she was the savior of humanity from the dark forces of the cabal, and that we needed to raise our vibration so high that we ascend into the fifth dimension, and that only 144,000 people will make it into this 5D new earth, and the rest will be recycled into the sun, which sounds strikingly similar to Heaven's Gate cult, right? They talked about how humanity was about to go into a new age, and that the planet was going to be recycled, and that they needed to ascend into the evolutionary level above human. But Amy Carlson here, she claimed that she had been reincarnated 534 times, including the reincarnation of Joan of Arc, Marilyn Monroe, and Cleopatra, Amelia Earhart, and of course also Jesus Christ. Yes, every one of these cult leaders has to mix in Christianity and Abrahamic religions into their cult ideology, and she lived a past life as Jesus Christ. And the group claimed that Amy was the queen of the lost continent of Lemuria, and claimed that the Lemurians now live within Mount Shasta in California. Amy also stated that Donald Trump was her father in a past life. Right now, yes, you're looking at the past life. In the past life, Donald Trump was Amy's father, right? She's got to mix in the QAnon conspiracies into her ideology as well. And also, she spoken to the spirit of deceased actor Robin Williams, and that Robin Williams was a part of the Galactic Federation of Light and would assist her in energetic healings for only $88 through Zoom. So the mummified corpse of Amy was found in a house near Crestone, Colorado. This was one of the last pictures of Amy. She was wrapped up in a sleeping bag, wrapped in Christmas lights. Her face was covered in glitter, and her eyes were missing, which has been described by the authorities that investigated it as a makeshift shrine. And according to the county coroner, Amy had been ingesting large amounts of colloidal silver and was said to have died of alcohol abuse, anorexia, and excessive ingestion of colloidal silver, which made her body turn yellow and gray. So that was a little recap of the Love is One cult. If you guys are interested, please check out UFO Doomsday Cults Part 6. So a quick reminder, super chats and super stickers are available in the chat and are really help the channel and will be read out during the show. PayPal and Buy Me the Coffee links are in the description as well and are also a great way to help support the show. Thank you guys very much. And a shout out to Bandy Boo, who sent a $10 super thanks on my last video with Walter Bosley. So today we're going to get into a hodgepodge of UFO cults. Ones that didn't really have enough information about them to warrant their own special episodes, but they're also important to mention. So it's my UFO cult burrito time, right? My own UFO cult burrito. That's right, UFO cult burrito. Are you hungry for the truth? Make yourself a cult burrito. Study every single New Age theory out there. Alternative religion, ancient astronaut theory, extraterrestrial hypothesis that you can possibly get your hands on. Go to New Age centers, visit your local crystal shops, meet with spiritual gurus. Compile all of their ideologies, mix it into your own version of Christianity. Make yourself a cult burrito. The only way to feed yourself the truth. Dang, don't those cult burritos look so good? Cult burrito time. They're so yummy. Yes, I want more cult burritos. So we're going to start this show off with a little well-known cult called the Mark Age UFO cult with Gloria Lee here. And she was an American airline flight attendant and claimed to be in telepathic communication with an entity known as JW, who lived on the planet Venus. Who else did we hear talk about the planet Venus? That's right, George King here from the Aetherius Society called in 1954 that we studied in UFO Doomsday Cults Part 1. Right? Maybe... and also, you also have George Van Tassel from the Ministry of Universal Wisdom, the very first channeler of the Ashtar Command, also talking about Venus and this hierarchical structure of beings. But Gloria Lee here, she began to assemble a book based on the teachings of this JW character from Venus that she was in telepathic communication with and was dictated to her from this JW fellow to write down. And at his direction, she founded the Cosmonon Research Foundation for the purposes of publication and study of JWs, this being that she's channeling and telepathic communicating with, super, ultra, mega, super wisdom. Right? And Gloria's cult following really began to grow because of advertisements that were regularly carried in Ray Palmer's monthly occult magazine, Fate. Here's a picture of one of his monthly magazines that he would publish with Gloria's information. So during Gloria's lectures, Gloria sold copies of her first book, which was called titled Why Are We Here in 1959. And a second book was then written and was published called Changing the Conditions of Your World in 1962, where Gloria developed a super ultra mega plan for world peace and an intergalactic space station. And she took those plans to Washington, D.C. in 1962. Trying to bring these plans for world peace and an international space station to the attention of the government and government officials, right? But what do you know? The government did not care and did not pay attention to her wackadoo nonsense cult rhetoric. So then she launched a hunger strike. Gloria Lee launched a hunger strike protest for the government not listening to her plans about an international space station and world peace. And she also told others in the UFO community that she expected to enter a coma resembling death and then return and be reborn with renewed spiritual energy to carry on her mission. How many cults have we covered so far that said that we're going to die and then be resurrected like Jesus Christ? Right? Marshall Applewhite said that from the Heaven's Gate cult. He said that him and Bonnie Nettles were going to be crucified and then be resurrected in order to show the public that what they're talking about is real. But then Marshall Applewhite changed the story. He did the old switcheroo on him and changed his stance and said, after the death of his partner cult leader Bonnie Nettles, she died. She developed brain cancer in 1984 and then died of that brain cancer in 1985. He had to switch it up and then say that it was a media death and resurrection because the media got in there. And then also David Koresh was saying this exact same thing to the Branch Davidians in Waco in 1993. And people are still waiting on David Koresh to be resurrected, right? So Gloria Lee here thought that her hunger strike was going to be great press for her and her cult and get more attention to her book and her brand new revelations. But the press wasn't notified of Gloria's hunger strike / protest thing until weeks after it had begun. So her plan for the hunger strike attracted very little to no publicity. But after approximately 66 days without eating, she was then taken to George Washington University Hospital and died there on December 3rd, 1962, at the age of 36 from starvation. And after her death, Charles Boyd, the founder of the Mark Age cult, and his partner claimed to be channeling spirit messages from Gloria on behalf of their UFO contactee cult. Again, just like Marshall Applewhite did when Bonnie Nettles died of brain cancer in 1985. He claimed that Bonnie Nettles was his shepherd and that he was in psychic communication with her after she passed, right? But Gloria here wasn't the only contactee to die of starvation. A contactee also starved herself to death in November of 1982. Lurvine Landis, which I couldn't find any pictures of her, unfortunately, but I did find a news article that mentioned the what I'm about to explain. So she was Levine Landis was a part of a cult called UFO cult called Search and Prove, and she died of starvation while waiting in her car in northern Minnesota woods for over 40 days for a UFO to land after reportedly being told to wait there during psychic telepathic communication contact with space extraterrestrials for their intergalactic ships to be revealed to her. Right? How's it going, everyone in the chat? How's it rocking? Lynn, good to see you. Nina the Mystic, Lord Ryder, yeah. Lynn, I died coming in here. Sherry, good to see you. Sail away. Good to see you. So that's it for the Mark Age cult. And now we move on to another little well-known cult, but had a lot of influences within the community, which is called the New World Comforter cult, aka the Universal Industrial Church of the New World Comforter, right? Not the New World Order, but the New World Comforter. The Universal Industrial Church for the New World Comforter. That is a mouthful, right? Excuse me if I get the Universal Industrial Church of the New World Comforter wrong, which was a UFO cult of the One World Family Commune founded in 1967 by Alan Michael. And this is their symbol that they used for the Industrial Church of the New World Comforter. Alan Michael wrote several books. Very difficult to find pictures of this gentleman, but this is the cover of one of his books. And Alan claimed that he was contacted by the great galactic being that was manifesting itself in the Milky Way galaxy, and he was asked to serve as the spiritual comforter and preach spiritual truth to the new world, right? And which sounds a lot like George King in the Atheist Society cult in 1954, which also happened to be in the same year. And a voice told George King psychic communication to prepare himself to become the voice of interplanetary parliament, right? We covered George King in UFO Doomsday Cults Part 1. So back to Alan Michael here. During his services, he would often quote from the Bible and his interpretations of the Bible, because you're not a cult leader unless you interpret the Bible in your own way. In 1967, in San Francisco, he founded the One World Family Commune for his followers, for a new model of living that was conducive to him preaching as the New World Comforter of Earth. He claimed to have psychically encountered a UFO in 1954 in Giant Rock in the Mojave Desert of California. And guess who else was at Giant Rock? George Van Tassel in 1954 that we covered in UFO Doomsday Cults Part 1, right? In the Mojave Desert in California, right? And George Van Tassel, he established his UFO Center in 1947, same year as Roswell, right? And became one of the most successful and well-known UFO meeting centers of the time. And George Van Tassel created the UFO cult called the Ministry of Universal Wisdom that began in 1953, right? And George Tassel here also claimed to receive messages via psychic communication from an extraterrestrial and interdimensional being that he named Ashtar. Van Tassel was the first person to claim to channel Lord Ashtar, right? And George Van Tassel also interpreted the Christian Bible in terms of extraterrestrial intervention that we covered again in UFO Doomsday Cults Part 1. I really hope that this stuff is coming together for you guys here. So Michael here began the One World Family Commune, operating a vegan restaurant on the northeast side of San Francisco, California. And in 1973, Alan Michael funded and founded the Universal Industrial Church of the New World Comforter. That's right. Not New World Order, New World Comforter. And published his first volume of Channeled Revelations, The Everlasting Gospel, in 1975. The church headquarters and the vegan restaurant relocated to Stockton, California, and Alan Michael ran for president of the United States. This UFO cult leader ran for president of the United States from 1980 to 1984 elections on the Utopian Synthesis Party ticket. Thank God that did not happen. Or hey, maybe we need a UFO cult leader running things for a little while. At least it would be interesting, right? you get things like, my fellow Americans, we have just received telepathic communication from the Galactic Federation, Lord Ashtar of the 33 Confederation of Planets. Confederation, I think I already said Confederation, but double Confederation from Venus. Everyone must meditate right now while gazing your butthole directly into the sun to activate your pineal gland and connect with the 3D, 5D light ships in the sky. Could you imagine that? Holy crap. At least it would be entertaining, right? So, how's everyone doing in the chat? What's happening over here? Lynn Earthling, Ryder, I love you. Sherry, oh my God. Yeah, you guys love it, right? All right, so we roll on to our next cult that we're going to cover here today, which is called the Universal People or Cosmic People of Light Powers, right? It is a UFO cult founded in the 1990s and centered around one of Ivo A. Binda. This is a picture of him right here. Ivo A. Binda. And their belief system is based upon the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations communicating with Binda and other contactees since October of 1997, telepathically. Not physically, telepathically, mind you. But later on, then came direct personal contact with Binda here. And this cult, Universe People, gained a lot of media attention in the wake of the Heaven's Gate cult in 1997, with having a very similar ideology and potential to commit similar acts. But fortunately, that wasn't the case as the years went on. But that didn't keep Binda here from capitalizing and soaking up all that media attention. On several occasions, the group managed to appear on the Czech and Slovakian mass media networks. Binda began to publicly do activities in the middle of the 1990s. He organized more than 180 lectures and visited more than 12,000 people in these lectures, which that's according to his own words, of course. And in 1997, he published the book Interviews with Instructions from My Friends from the Universe. And some of the visitors to Binda's public lectures considered his speeches as a, and I quote, a perfect mystification or joke, and many psychiatrists of the time labeled his performances as bizarre psychotic delusions. So from 1999 to 2000, the ideology of the Universal People, the Universe People, sorry, so many cults to remember, the Universe People cult was, the central idea of the cult was the coming of a catastrophe in the evacuation of people to another planet by extraterrestrial ships, just like the Seekers UFO cult saying in 1954 that the Guardian races were coming, that the United States was going to be destroyed by a massive flood preceding an earthquake. That didn't happen, just like the Ashtar Command channelers in the 80s and into the 90s predicting mass catastrophe, and that the Ashtar Galactic Command beings were coming to save humanity, just like the Raelian cult saying that these beings were going to, the extraterrestrial Elohim ships were going to land and give humanity their advanced technology. But what happened when Ivo Binda's predictions of a mass catastrophe and extraterrestrial landing didn't happen, right? They got to hit him with the switcheroo. Hit them with the switcheroo. Are your cult members not following orders? Are they starting to have a mind of their own? Hit them with the switcheroo. Tell them that higher beings have a new mission for them. Tell them that they are the incarnation of famous historical figures. Tell them about the new revelations that only you know about, given directly to you from the higher beings. Tell them anything but the truth. Hit them with the switcheroo. Nothing like the switcheroo to get your cult back on track. So in the second half of the 2000s, Ivo Binda, after his failed prediction of a mass catastrophe, became more publicly known in Slovakia in 2007. On the Slovakian private television channel TVJOJ reported that the universe people sent instructions on how to defend against attacks of evil extraterrestrial entities to the Slovakian Ministry of Defense. Right? Just like Gloria Lee, that we just talked about in the beginning of this show, sent her plans to create world peace and an intergalactic space station to the government officials in the United States. Ivo Binda here is giving plans and directions on how to defend against evil extraterrestrial space aliens. I really want to know what they thought about that, right? Did we get anything important today? Did we get anything important in the mail today, officer? Well, we got this letter from a man, Ivo Binda, from a UFO cult detailing his plans on how to defend Earth from evil extraterrestrial lizard people. Noise, bro. So apparently the Ministry of Defense thought that the information that was sent to them by Ivo Binda, the envelopes were very suspicious, which alerted the Slovakian military police and security services. Even one of the buildings of the Ministry of Defense was then evacuated, right? But all that they found in these envelopes, they just contained instructional CDs and promotional materials of the group, right? Thank God it wasn't anthrax or a bomb or something. It was just material from this cult leader telling us how to defend ourselves from off-world extraterrestrial lizard people that don't exist. Whoop! Close call right there, folks. Close call. Close one. So later, Ivo Binda stated on TV, and I tried very hard to find this video of him talking about this, but I couldn't find it. Very difficult to find. But apparently, he said on the Slovakian TV show that if you were attacked by a lizard man from space, the Ministry of Defense should defend the people, shouldn't it? Or do you consider those lizard people as friends? Oh my God. Could you imagine this dude going to a defense intelligence agency and asking them, if we were attacked by lizard people from outer space, what's your plan? I need to know the plans right now from the intelligence community. If we were attacked by 10-foot tall lizard people from outer space, what's the countermeasures? What would we do? Oh my God, Lord help us. Lord help us. I think that I watched Space Force with Steve Carell on Netflix, and I believe in season 2 of Space Force, the Space Force was asked to do that very thing. They were asked to create a defense plan and how to kill extraterrestrials if they encountered them on their mission. Right? What if they're what if the Defense Intelligence Agency's response to this whole thing was, well, that's what we have the Ashtar Command for, or the Galactic Federation of Light, or the 33 Worlds of Planetary Confederation? Well, that's been answered. That's exactly what Binda said, right? According to Binda, that's exactly what was going on. He claimed that the extraterrestrial civilizations operate a fleet of spaceships led by none other than the Ashtar Galactic Command. And this is a picture of Binda's face on Lord Ashtar, which I think is pretty funny. They photoshopped Binda's face onto the picture of Ashtar from the Ashtar Galactic Space Command. Right, and that the Ashtar Command was orbiting Earth, and they would closely watch and help the good people that were waiting to transport their followers into another dimension. Right? Oh my God, it doesn't get any better. It just gets worse. The Universal People's Teaching incorporate a lot of various elements from ufology, Christianity, Abrahamic religions, and conspiracy theories, which sound an awful lot like a cult burrito. Are you hungry for the truth? Make yourself a cult burrito. Study every single New Age theory out there. Alternative religion, ancient astronaut theory, extraterrestrial hypothesis that you can possibly get your hands on. Go to New Age centers, visit your local crystal shops, meet with spiritual gurus, compile all of their ideologies, mix it into your own version of Christianity. Make yourself a cult burrito. The only way to feed yourself the truth. I love me some cult burrito. Yes. So Binda here based his philosophy on a lot of information from a lot of different books, including Angels and Starships, Inside the Spaceships, which was written by George Adamski, and the book Bringers of Dawn. He also adopted parts of his ideology and theology from Billy Meyer's philosophy, which Billy Meyer is a completely different story. I'm going to get into what happened there in the future, but I think it's important for me to bring up now the Billy Meyer story. And it's interesting that Ivo Binda took a lot of his theology and theories and ideas about extraterrestrials directly from Billy Meyer. So also within this movement, members of the movement distrust modern technologies and control mechanisms of society. They consider mass media to be a tool of oppression and manipulation. And Binda often seeks a lot of contact with journalists to tell his ideas to the public. They often have a bunch of problems with copyright infringement because he basically stole all of his ideas from earlier books and theologies of other people. But the way that he gets around that is saying that copyright doesn't matter to the owners of the universe creatures. And so universe people don't care about copyright, apparently, and they don't consider it important. And so he is exempt from existing copyright laws, exempt from being able to steal others' information from books and Billy Meyer. Breeders are great. Reheated. Yes, they are. Paul Joe, good to see you. Hound Dog, what's happening, brother? Brother Hound Dog. I joined the Blue Oyster Cult. Only pink chickens. Lynn, that's right. Gnosis, they might as well be. Might as well. Blue chickens might as well be a part of the cult. They're just creating a bunch of nonsense based on previously established belief systems. Hound Dog Piper, free love, baby. That's right, free love, just like the aliens from the alien cult. Everyone have sex with everybody. The extraterrestrial Elohim have human hybrid cyborg sex slaves for you to have sex with on the ship on the in a different planet. Okay, so that is it for the universe, people. Cult, but we have another cult to cover here, which is very interesting cult, which is called the Joy of Satan Ministries. Joy of Satan, which is also referred to as the Joy of Satan. Joy of Satan Ministries, Joy of Satan. And is an Western esoteric cult organization founded in 2002 by Andrea Dietrich. And she is later known as Maxine Dietrich. Joy of Satan Ministries was created by Maxine, and she developed her own form of Satanism different to Anton LaVey's Satanism, called spiritual Satanism, an ideology that presents the perfect cult burrito, mixing in Satanism, Nazism, Gnostic paganism, Western theology, UFO conspiracy theories, and extraterrestrial belief systems. And that, my friends, is a cult burrito. Are you hungry for the truth? Make yourself a cult burrito. Study every single New Age theory out there. Alternative religion, ancient astronaut theory, extraterrestrial hypothesis that you can possibly get your hands on. Go to New Age centers, visit your local crystal shops, meet with spiritual gurus, compile all of their ideologies, mix it into your own version of Christianity. Make yourself a cult burrito. The only way to feed yourself the truth. Yummy cult burrito. So the Joy of Satan presents various extraterrestrial theories, some of which derive from author of ancient astronaut theories such as Zacharias Sitchin. Joy of Satan believed that Satan and his demons are sentient and powerful extraterrestrial beings responsible for the creation of humanity, and those origins predate Abrahamic religions. Right? And if Jesus and Buddha and Krishna can all be extraterrestrial beings here to ascend humanity, then why can't Satan be an extraterrestrial too? Right? If God can send Jesus here and all the other religious prophets from around the world, and that they're extraterrestrials, according to every single one of these cults that we've studied so far, why can't Satan be an extraterrestrial too? Right? That makes a lot of sense. That if Jesus is an extraterrestrial, Satan must be an extraterrestrial as well. Right? And according to the Joy of Satan cult, these extraterrestrials are also referred and identified as the Nephilim in the Bible. And Maxine claimed that there was a mortal struggle between the enlightened aliens and the extraterrestrial races, more specifically the reptilians. So the good forces were against the reptilians. Joy of Satan Ministries cult, Joy of Satan, believe that Enki, the Sumerian god, which they consider to be Satan, was an extraterrestrial created with other extraterrestrials, and then created Earth and human beings with their advanced technology and genetic engineering. Called burrito. It's considered also by the Joy of Satan that most of Satan's sentient creations were the Nordic Aryan race. Here comes the neo-Nazi vibe, right? They declare that the reptilians have in turn created their own kind of human by combining their own DNA with the DNA of a semi-animal human hybrid, which would later become known as the Jewish race. Holy shit. Oh my God, that needs a Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Whew. Wow. First we learn how the Asians came about on Earth from Ernest Newman from the Unarius Academy cult here from 1954, that he psychically sent his consciousness to planet Mars and seen underground caverns and seen that Chinese Asians were living underneath the planet on Mars, and that they split off and came to Earth. And that's how Chinese Asians developed here on Earth. They're originally from Mars. Now we get from the Joy of Satan cult that the reptilians created the Jews from combining their own DNA with the DNA of a semi-animal human hybrid, which later turned into the Jewish race. It's such nonsense and anti-Semitic bullshit, right? They all have some sort of superiority complex to them. They need another Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
That's right. So they claim that benevolent extraterrestrials left Earth 10,000 years ago, and the agents of the reptilians created their own religions, which is the Abrahamic religions, which then subsequently led to the destruction of pagan deities. They claim that religions demonized extraterrestrials by labeling them devils, and through their doctrines created a climate of terror within humanity in order to better program humans on Earth and control humanity, which is very similar to what a lot of people talk about today within the community, and the how religions control people through programming and ideology, right? And they state that Satan, however, did not abandon humanity, believing that he revealed himself in the Black Book of Satan, wherein Satan apparently allocates the different responsibilities, blessings, and misfortunes that he desires, which no humans have say in. You can actually go to their website and read the Black Book of Satan. They still have a website up that you can see all of their material on. Paul Joe. Yep, Hound Dog. Every religion says it is right and everyone else is going to hell. That is totally correct. Sherry, yeah. Noble truth. Well, I have been called a beast before. Jim, I'm going to have to buy my imaginary girlfriend a burrito. No, you don't just give her a regular burrito, you give her a cult burrito. Cult burritos are on the rise, people. So, a little history on the Joy of Satan Ministries cult. in the early 2000s, Maxine, which I could not find any photos that directly showed Maxine, but this might be her. Not sure. Not 100% sure if this is her. This is during one of their rituals that they did at a football game, I believe, or a baseball game or something like that. This may be her. Not 100% sure. Might not be. So don't get mad at me if that's not her. She established this satanic ideology that would present itself as a esoteric form of Anton LaVey's Satanism from the research of Zechariah Sitchin. Maxine derived the theory of an ancient conflict between extraterrestrial races and incorporated these theories into her own ideology. Sounds like a cult burrito, right? Exactly like a cult burrito. The Joy of Satan transformed Anton LaVey's sigil of Baphomet, which can be seen here right behind Anton LaVey, and would incorporate cuneiform script instead of the Hebrew letters that Anton LaVey has in his sigil of Baphomet, which was the Leviathan in Hebrew. They changed it. This is their symbol that they use, the Joy of Satan symbol. They changed it. They obscured it a little bit and changed it to Leviathan instead of no, they changed it to Satan. Sorry, they changed it to Satan instead of Leviathan in Hebrew. Right, which their revised version of the Baphomet was said to them and claimed that was the original pentagram used in Samaria. Right, the Joy of Satan Ministries has a polyolithic, like a polyolithic belief system wherein they consider demons to have a real existence and would perceive Satan as their primary ruler. While the Joy of Satan views on Satan as a deity, they also consider the deities to be highly evolved, sentient, and powerful humanoid extraterrestrial beings that do not age. Satan is seen as a highly regarded deity in the Joy of Satan cult, and but not the omnipresent and omnipotent God. But they also hold to believe that Satan is the representative of the nations of strength and power, justice, freedom, and Lilith is another deity of significance to the group and who is recognized as the patron of strong women and a goddess of women's rights. So by 2004, they had been completely immersed in anti-Judaic and neo-Nazi sentiment and had completely that theology had completely established itself within the Joy of Satan ideology, and further anti-Semitic theories would later be incorporated. It was also revealed that Clifford Harrington, a chairman of the National Socialist Movement, a far-right neo-Nazi white supremacist organization based in the United States, and that his wife was a high priestess of the Joy of Satan cult, which I'm guessing that's where their neo-Nazi and anti-Semitic ideas come from. Garbage human beings. Garbage human beings. Anyway, the Joy of Satan Ministries became established as a non-profit religious organization in 2004. Despite serious controversies, the Joy of Satan maintained some degree of popularity. And on June 30th, 2006, the Joy of Satan and the MSN founders allegedly found themselves to be a target of an attempted car bombing. And after noticing that there were wires hanging out from under their car, a Tulsa bomb squad was then called out to a Walmart supercenter to remove the explosive device. The incident was briefly reported on by the Tesla World newspaper and was later removed from the website. That seems like a publicity stunt right there, right? But it didn't work. Who knows? Nothing like a little victimhood and oppression to wrap into your neo-Nazi, anti-Semitic UFO cult, right? So Joy of Satan promotes a wide variety of occult practices, such as method for invocation and divination of demonic entities and guidelines for making pacts with them, such as astrology, magic, pendulums, ruins, clairvoyance, past lives, pineal gland, third eye, chakras, bioelectric feedback, bioelectric technology, the astral plane, spells, kundalini serpent, trance channeling, self-hypnosis, incense, telekinesis, brainwaves, and chanting. Whew. That right there, you know what that is. You guys know exactly what that is. That is a cult burrito. Are you hungry for the truth? Make yourself a cult burrito. Study every single New Age theory out there. Alternative religion, ancient astronaut theory, extraterrestrial hypothesis that you can possibly get your hands on. Go to New Age centers, visit your local crystal shops, meet with spiritual gurus, compile all of their ideologies, mix it into your own version of Christianity. Make yourself a cult burrito. The only way to feed yourself the truth. That is the perfect example of a cult burrito. They got it all in there. They got invocation, divination of demonic entities, and a guideline for making pacts with them, astrology, magic, ruins, clairvoyance, past lives, chakras, astral plane, spells, kundalini serpent trance, self-hypnosis, brainwaves, chanting, black magic. It's also noted that practitioners that experiment with the meditation practices of Joy of Satan Ministries may find them useful, as it adds to the group's source of magic and spans from simple to complex techniques. And these techniques include sorcery, spells, various types of witchcraft, all of which require the practitioner to use their imagination to apply knowledge and techniques of spells, hypnotism, healing, and they also offer a wide range of occult techniques in black magic. Some of the rituals done by the Joy of Satan cult are very simple and not really advanced, with most consisting of mainly visualization technique exercises rather than actual rituals, right? Don't have to sacrifice a cat, but you do, or sacrifice a goat, but you do have to offer up some of your blood, right? Got to offer up some of your blood into this Joy of Satan ritual cult. And the rituals apparently involve negotiations or the exercise of evil and telepathic communication with anthropomorphic, translucent beings. The initiates into these rituals performed by the Joy of Satan cult is referred to as formal arrangements that is signed in blood and burned in order to participate fully in Satan's work upon humanity, to imply a sort of growth in spiritual knowledge and personal power. During the standard rituals, this is just standard rituals. I don't know what about the advanced rituals, right? Standard rituals, the focus of their practice is described as shifting from exerting control to cultivating attachment and self-development, rather than forcefully summoning demons. These standard rituals, these are novice rituals, right, that the initiates first start getting into. is to create a mystical experience and empower the practitioners in a way that aligns with themselves personally. What we know from studying the Order of the Solar Temple cult, they also did that same exact thing, though the Order of the Solar Temple cult was using projectors and smoke and mirrors to for their initiates and people during their rituals, and the follower of their cult to believe in that they were in contact with higher beings. So the central part of their standard ritual to Satan consists of reading prayers and communicating with Father Satan one-on-one. Nothing like communicating with Father Satan one-on-one. We communicated with Mother God from the Joy of the Love is One cult last week, and now we're communicating with Father Satan. Right? The ritual starts in with a ringing of a bell, invoking the four princes of hell. In the main part of the invocation, Satan is recited, establishing a link suitable for prayer and communication, in which the practitioner, after concluding his endeavors and his prayers to Satan, will then end the ritual with a close. Members of the Joy of Satan may also partake in rituals against those believed to be enemies of Satan, in the form of what they call spiritual warfare. You can, here's a picture of one of their rituals. Joy of Satan cult is still available, but with their anti-Semitic and racist remarks and ideology, I do not recommend them. But if you want to read the Black Book of Satan, you can find it on their website, joyofsatan.org, right here. So that wraps up our UFO Doomsday Cults episode, part 7. Thank you guys. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Let's check out the chat, see what's popping over there. Hound Dog. I'd have to pay a lot of money to get that commercial at the Super Bowl halftime show. That's millions of dollars, my friend, but I would love it. No Bull Truth, Bed Bath & Beyond must make a killing off of these cults. Lynn, I think spiritual warfare is nothing but dumbing us down. Yes. All the communities have been infiltrated into these UFO cults. Their ideologies and thoughts and rhetoric is parodied and regurgitated within the community. Sherry, Satan must get very tired. Yeah. Hound Dog Piper, good series, Ryder. Thank you, brother. Marissa, good to see you, my dear. Been a minute. Glad to see you here. Yeah, so on Saturday, I will be having Christopher John Bjorkness back on the show. We're going to be talking about Stanley Kubrick and the Black Cube. Don't miss that show on Saturday at 6 p.m. EST. Sherry, the the perfect commercial. Yeah, and I got another cult to cover next week, which is called the I Am cult. And I thought that the Seekers UFO cult with Dorothy Martin and Dr. Loghead was the earliest UFO cult in the United States, but I was wrong. After doing more research, I found this cult called the I Am cult, and it started in the 30s, but there's so much information and so much study that I have to do surrounding that cult, but that one will be UFO Doomsday Cults Part 8. Sam. Oh, looking forward to that, Ryder. Bringing on the content, brother. Yes, the show on Saturday with Christopher Bjorkness is going to be awesome. Paul Joe, thanks, Ryder. Fun, thoughtful, thought and directions. Yes. Thanks, Paul Joe. Appreciate you. Go back through here and see if there's any super chats that I missed or super stickers. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate your time this evening. It's been a fun one. We got in some cult burritos and some switcheroos. No rebranding time, but there's always more time for rebranding time. Rebranding time will happen. I promise. Awesome. Nina the Mystic. Looking forward to Christopher John Bjorkness, who will be back on my channel on the 3rd. Yes. Very knowledgeable individual when it comes to these kinds of religions. Sherry. Love you, Ryder. Host with the most, baby. That's right. Host with the most cult burritos, switcheroos, and rebrands. And Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's a lot of information. He's gone deep on Stanley Kubrick and the Black Cube, and we're going to be getting into that on Saturday. So be looking out for that video to drop. It'll be at 6 p.m. EST on Saturday. Rebecca, the I am ties into more acceptable religions like Christianity. Yes, I am really capitalized. They claim themselves to be a Christians. They claim themselves to hold Christian ideologies and Christian belief systems, but their main tagline was that they were saving the United States, that they were going to overthrow the government and create a new government. This was back in the 30s, which I don't understand what was so bad about the United States back in the 30s other than the Great Depression. Do a short for that commercial. Yeah, I might do a short for that, Hound Dog. It'd be kind of fun. You can make it pretty easily. Rebecca, indeed, it is a widespread idea. Yeah, it is. And I didn't know about them until recently when I was doing more research on the cults that we covered today, that I discovered the cult of I am. And I am has been regurgitated within this community all the time. How many people have you guys heard talk about I am, the affirmation of I am, which really comes from whenever the verse in the Bible where Moses is talking to God, and God said, I am that I am. Yeah. So we'll be covering the I am cult next Thursday. A lot of research and study that needs to go into that cult because they had a lot of, they recorded all of their meetings and stuff that they would do. And they came out of Chicago. Hound Dog, I am. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for being in the chat. PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee donations are in the description of this video. Really helps support me and support my work and help me continue to bring you amazing content like this and amazing research and great discussions that I have on this channel. Thanks so much. Please hit the thumbs up button to help the channel and the algorithm. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well. And please share this information out with other people. It's really important information. I made a playlist that you can just send to people. Just copy the link of the playlist and send it out to people because people aren't aware of where these ideas and these thoughts and ideologies actually come from. And we're telling people, and we're telling you, and we're helping you realize that, where these ideologies and these belief systems actually originate from. So we're going to continue doing this. And thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you guys on Saturday with Christopher John Bjorkness at 6 p.m. EST. See you guys next time.